Welcome, friends. I'm happy to be with you. I want to share this Holy Gospel taken from John chapter 5, 1 3, 5, 16.
There was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there is in Jerusalem at the sheep gate a pool called in Hebrew Bethesda, with 5 porticoes. In these lay a large number of ill, blind, lame, and crippled. One man was there who had been ill for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had been ill for a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be well?" The sick man answered him, "Sir, I have no one to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. While I am on my way, someone else gets down there before me." Jesus said to him, "Rise, take up your mat, and walk." Immediately the man became well, took up his mat, and walked. Now that day was a Sabbath. So the Jews said to the man who was cured, "It is the Sabbath, and it is not lawful for you to carry your mat." He answered them, "The man who made me well told me, 'Take up your mat and walk.'" They asked him, "Who is the man who told you, 'Take it up and walk'?" The man who was healed did not know who it was, for Jesus had slipped away, since there was a crowd there. After this, Jesus found him in the temple area and said to him, "Look, you are well. Do not sin anymore, so that nothing worse may happen to you." The man went and told the Jews that Jesus was the one who had made him well. Therefore, the Jews began to persecute Jesus because he did this on a Sabbath. The Gospel of the Lord's.
Today, the Saint John speaks of the parable of the pool of Bethesda. It rather looked like the waiting room of a traumatology hospital. There lay a multitude of sick people, blind, lame, and paralyzed. On this lay a large number of healed, blind, lame, and crippled. Jesus went up there. It's rather curious. Jesus manages to be found always in the middle of some problem. Wherever he goes, there is always somebody to be liberated. There he is when it comes to making people happy. The Pharisees, instead, were concerned only over the fact that it was Saturday. Their bad faith was killing their spirit. Since nasty features were showing through their eyes. There's no worse deaf man than he who does not want to hear. The protagonist of the miracle had been disabled for 38 long years. "Do you want to be well?" Jesus says to him. He had since long ago before struggling in the void, for he had not found Jesus. At long last, he had found the man. The 5 galleries of the pool of Bethesda boomed out upon hearing the Master's voice. "Rise, take up your mat, and walk." It was just a matter of an instant. Jesus Christ's voice is the voice of God. Everything was anew with that old disabled man, spent by dejection. Much later, St. John Chrysostom will say that in Bethesda pool, sick people cured their bodies, while in the baptisms, those same sick cured their soul. Over there, one only sick could eventually be cured every now and then. Baptism, however, cures always and everybody. In both cases, God's power is evidenced through water. That helpless, disabled man close to the water does not remind you of our own helplessness to do good? How we can dare solving by ourselves that which has a supernatural scope? Don't you see every day around you a big crowd of disabled ones that are moving themselves a lot while being totally unable to get rid of their lack of freedom? Sin paralyzes man. Remember and take care. Sin paralyzes man, grows him whole, kills him. We have to fix our eyes in Jesus. We need Him, His grace, to plunge us into the waters of prayer, of confession, of the opening of our spirit. You and I may be eternal disabled person, or in the contrary, bearers of His light instrument. Be an instrument of Jesus. That's the key. And how? Living in love, because love gives value to things.